What is going on? Welcome back. Third and 20 podcast, episode 80. Sorry for the hiatus. Was busy last week. I had problems uploading the pod the week before to Anchor. I think it was on YouTube, but nonetheless, we are back. Steve, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Doing great, dude. Playoff time is here. It is crunch time. It's time to crown a winner.
All right, yeah. So before we get into the take review and whatnot, we're doing some picks. We are back with the picks for Super Wildcard Weekend, I think is what they're calling it these days.
Yeah,
Um,
because there's a Monday night game now.
Wild. I actually love that. The extra wild card
Yeah,
team
no,
is
that
awesome.
is.
I mean,
It
especially because
is.
my Steelers got in because of that. Like, I'll take it.
It was looking dire there for a second.
All right. So if you're listening, grab a beer. And let's talk about some takes, some playoff takes. All right. So no dog of the week because I figured because it's the playoffs and there's less games and whatnot, like we'll scrap dog of the week. So sorry, Mr. Pooch over here, the Scrappy Doo. You're gone. Gone till next year. See ya, bud.
18 weeks loyal. 18 weeks loyal.
Yeah, stray dog found his way on our episode. The scrappy dog, and he's gone. I have one pick right now. I was thinking of looking at the lines on the pod and seeing if take anything, and this actually wasn't even my pick. One of my buddies texted me this. Is like, oh, what do you think? And I loved it. On FanDuel, you can get Rob Gronkowski anytime touchdown scorer at plus 125. And I just think that that's kind of like a slam dunk pick, to be completely honest. I think that on FanDuel, that is pretty mispriced. I would not have Rob Gronkowski at plus odds to score, especially given a lot of the injuries to that offense. We saw what Gronk was able to do in the playoffs last year. So, especially against the Eagles, because I think that that's one of the main weakness of the Eagles has been their linebacking core for the past couple of years. Not that they're bad, it's just not at the level of some of the other really great defenses in the league. So I think that that's a great matchup that the Buccaneers will be able to exploit is Rob Gronkowski, especially in the red zone. It's Tom Brady. They're going to put up points. So anytime touchdown score plus 125, love it.
I like that pick too. They played in the regular season, right? They had to.
Yes, they did. And
do you know the outcome?
If you remember, you got boned because I'm pretty sure you took something. I think you may have taken like the over or something, and the Eagles or the Bucs not kicking a field goal absolutely boned you because I remember the Eagles went for the 2-point conversion at the end of the game, and they were getting smacked. I forget. Let me look at the takes. Let me see what week that was.
Dude. I think I remember I think I remember what you're talking about. That was a grinder.
It can't be week 8. Maybe you push. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of that.
But dude, the Bucs have screwed me out of the over a couple of times this year. It's just like the first half it looks great, then Tom Brady's just like, oh, I'm gonna run the ball. Dude, who wants to run the ball? Come out there and chunk the ball. Let's go. Come on, let's score.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
blow a lead.
Week 6 they played. It was 28-22 final score.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well the Eagles scored 15 points in the third and fourth quarter when they were down like 3 scores. And I don't think Rob Gronkowski did not play that game. OJ Howard though had 6 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. Cameron Brate another 3 catches for 26 yards. Antonio Brown was the main beneficiary of Tom Brady's targets. He had 9 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. He's not going to be playing. Chris Godwin's not going to be playing. Mike Evans was held to 2 catches for 27 yards. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. Leonard Fournette had 2 touchdowns. I actually think he's playing this week, right?
Playoff Lenny? Yeah.
Yeah, I think playoff Lenny. So back. I was also thinking about taking Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown scorer as well. I didn't love the odds on it.
You probably get like what, like minus 110?
I think from what I remember, he was like minus 135 or minus 140, somewhere in there.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit too low. But I was thinking, and because we're on the pod, I haven't had enough of these beers yet. Leonard Fournette first touchdown score could be interesting.
Yeah, I do like that because you could get that probably at like plus 600, plus 700, something like that.
I believe it's plus something 550, juicy. But it's I think it's juicy enough. I think that's juicy enough.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like usually first touchdown score, the lowest I've ever seen it, because I bet it every Sunday night game. That is my first bet, because like that's just the game I'm honed into. I always bet first touchdown score. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can hit. And the lowest I've ever seen was like plus 600. It was I think it was like Zeke one night. I think they were playing the Vikings or some shit like that. And of course it hit. And I took like Gallup. But like, I don't know. This is where Leonard Fournette comes out to shine. It's playoff Lenny time.
Yeah, the problem is, and it's funny because I feel like what you would want to do is that if you're up a lot of units, you would want to like be a little bit riskier. But I'm up 11.54 units on the year. And I kind of want to keep it that way, to be honest. I don't really want to start, especially because I know come Super Bowl time and NFC, AFC championship time, I'm going to start digging into the weeds of picks. I'm going to start overanalyzing the shit out of those games and taking some weird stuff.
That's the difference between me and you. We get into prime time. It doesn't matter if I'm up 20 units or I'm down 20 units. I'm gonna chase the Magic Dragon. Here we go. Give me all right,
what's
picks.
Your pick? Chasing the Magic Dragon. I'm just thinking of that. Remember that South Park episode where?
Yeah, no, that's what I was referencing when he was playing the
heroin
video game. Yeah, heroin hero.
Where he's just shooting up heroin, chasing that pony or that dragon or whatever.
Yeah, chasing the dragon. They're like, you'll never get him. You'll never catch him.
Yeah, that's how it is with those kinds of picks, right? You're just, especially the people that are taking like 80 game parlays and they're always one off. It's like you're just chasing the dragon. You're always going to be one off.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, get into your first pick though. What's your first pick?
Okay, so this will be kind of dog of the week, but it's not essentially since we're not doing it. I'm going to take two bets here. I'm taking 49ers plus 3, and I'm taking their money line. Cowboys, sorry, your season's over. It's capped. I saw a record for the last couple years on the 6 seed when they played the 3 seed is that they're 7-1 straight up and 8-0 against the spread. So I'm going to trust the numbers here. But also, I kind of just like the matchup for the 49ers here. I mean, the 49ers had to do a lot last week to get in. They were down 17-0 at half, or 17-3 at half. They come back, they win in OT, they win 20-17. This team has been kind of on a roll since their little bit of bad start. Like for the last month and a half or so, they played really well. Whenever they beat the Rams the first time, it feels like that's when the 49ers really started taking off. I'm not a believer in this Cowboys defense. You got a lot of big names. You got Micah Parsons, stud. I give you that. Trayvon Diggs leads the league in interceptions. Congrats, dude. But dude, you're giving up You gave up almost 1,000 yards this year. I'm not saying you're a top corner. Like honestly, if I'm a quarterback, I'm feasting you. Like you might make one play on me. Congrats. You can make one play. But my 10 plays of getting 150 yards on you is better than that one pick. I'm going to roll with the 49ers here. Jimmy G's been there. He's played it. He's played in the Super Bowl. He can do it. Shanahan with the run game can control the clock. I just don't know if the Cowboys, this is the matchup they want for this. They would rather want to have the Eagles or a team like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game right now because now that you mention it, and I'm looking at this, I saw 49ers money line plus 145 on DraftKings right now. And the first thing I checked, how's Dallas against the run? This year, they've been just about average. They're 16th in the league, so dead smack average. Last 3 giving up 120 yards on the ground per game. That's a little bit under average, but run defense average. And I'm going through here, and I want to see because that's Shanahan's bread and butter, right? This is one of these guys that if that run game is working, he's going to spam it. He's going to spam the crap out of it. And now Elijah Mitchell's coming back. He's healthy. And their entire roster is Deebo's fine, right? I know he got banged up a little bit last week, but he's fine.
He's good. He's good.
Kittle's healthy. Like, the band is there. What about Trent Williams? Is he playing? Because I know he missed last week, and this is a guy that could easily be Offensive Player of the Year. 12 hours ago, Trent Williams yet to practice, but expresses optimism.
He's playing.
Because if you get a Trent Williams that is even playing at 80% of his usual
even if
self,
he's not playing, the Rams pass rush is a lot better than the Cowboys pass rush. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably.
And they held them to 7. They were, struggling to move the ball, but they did enough,
They moved it when they counted it. When it counted too, right? They had that drive.
Yeah, when it counted.
Top the game.
Yeah. Because I bet 49ers. That was to get me out of the hole last week. I put all my remaining balance on the 49ers, so I needed them. They did. I'm gonna stick with them. The thing is, though, and what I love about this game is that I think the X factor in this game, and I don't want to toot our own horn here, but is Deebo Samuel, right? Because he's a hybrid. He does everything. He lines up at running back. He lines up at receiver, right? He can do it all. And when you have a player on that caliber, that talented, and that fast, with that skill set, and is able to just create these gaping plays. I don't know what it is about Deebo, but it always seems like he never gets tackled on the first hit. He's always able to fight for extra yards. I think he plays a huge role in this game. If his props are out, you might want to take a look at him, honestly. Because I'm telling you right now, this Cowboys defense is not that great it's hit or miss, the Cowboys defense to me, right? They play really great one week, and the next week they don't play great. And it's just So, I trust Shanny, one of the best offensive masterminds in the game, who beat McVay twice this year. People will say he's the best offensive mind. Shanny beat McVay twice. He's owned McVay twice. Why can't he beat Mike McCarthy in Dallas when Dallas, your division sucked, dude. Your division sucked. Why not the 49ers,
I'm really on the fence with this game, which makes me want to take it.
There's one thing that does scare me about Dallas's defense, and this is just talking about past Falcons experiences, is that when the Falcons were in the playoffs with Dan Quinn, the defense jumped on another level for some reason. It just looked different. I am a little afraid that Dallas's defense could do that same factor here, but at the same time, I got to thinking about it, and I didn't want to think too deep about it because I don't think Dan Quinn really faced a guy like Shanahan or who can work around it and figure out his own little gaps. So I'm just going to roll Shanny.
See, I think the bigger question mark is the 49ers defense because I'm looking at a lot of these Cowboys wins. I'm looking at a lot of these Cowboys wins, and a lot of these wins are where the Cowboys are putting up 35, 40 points, 50 points.
Their offense could jump.
So that's my question is, can the 49ers keep this a manageable football game, kind of like last week, where, hey, the Rams offense had some success, but they weren't putting up 35, they were putting up 24, right, in an overtime game. If this is going to be a 21-24 kind of point game going into the fourth quarter, then all of a sudden I like this a lot more for the 49ers than the Cowboys. But on the contrary, if the Cowboys come out here and make this they're putting up 31 points around the fourth quarter and they're getting the score line up a little bit, well, then all of a sudden, I think that the 49ers may not have enough firepower to keep up with them.
I mean, that's a true statement because, like, again, this Cowboys team's kind of weird to me. Is that like that offense will click at some points, and it's just bang, 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 like C.D. Lamb, Amari Cooper, Zeke 20-yard run, Tony Pollard, boom, boom. They're hitting on all the cylinders, and next thing you know, they scored 30 points on you. They have the caliber to do that. But the way that I see the 49ers defense going, I mean, I know you're a high Rams guy coming into the season. You've been all the season. Like, who has a better offense? You know, Rams, Cowboys. Who does?
As of right now, I think the Cowboys are more complete, but I feel like the Rams
With
are a little bit
McVay?
more. I think the Rams are a little bit more consistent. I think that's the thing is that um, on any given day, for the most part, we've seen Stafford come out there and be pick six McGee, right? He leads the league in pick sixes, I'm pretty sure. But outside of that, which is mainly in the Titans
Shout out
game,
Jameis.
um, I think that we kind of know what we're getting out of the Rams. Cooper Kupp is going to have a day. Matt Stafford's usually going to play well, and you kind of know what you're getting out of the Rams. I think the Cowboys, though, it's like you get the Cowboys offense on a good day, they're beating anyone, literally anyone. They're putting
Yeah.
up 50, they're beating everyone. But at the same time, we've seen Dak and that offense kind of struggle, especially when they're not able to consistently move the ball or have those like big plays from a guy like Tony Pollard. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and this
I'm going to
game
stay away
sucks
though.
because
I
I
just
like
think
both
that
games.
I think the
I love
Cowboys,
both
man, I'm
teams.
looking at their injury report. They're like full strength. This is going to be a fun game. I don't know what is going to
It's
happen.
the
And
best game.
usually I would
It's the
just
best
take
game.
the underdog in this scenario because that's kind of been my strategy for this whole season is games that I don't know what the outcome is. I think it's pretty even. I'll take the underdog. If I were to make a pick, I'm taking that 49ers plus 145. I think it's pretty juicy, but for whatever
I'm on
reason,
it.
I have this little voice in the back of my head that's saying, "Hey, Cowboys are winning here."
And you know me, dude. Like I was a low key Cowboys fan for
Yeah.
a while, you know. Like, but I'm telling you, it it like I hadn't watched much on the 49ers this year until the Falcons played them, and then I watched them a little bit. You know, I think that team is a dark horse. It could be a dark horse. I might just be biting at the bit right here, though. I mean, if the Cowboys go up there and beat them, congrats. Just do it less than 3, you know, so I can like go 1-1 on this bet. But I don't know. Like, there's going to be an upset this weekend. We all know one of these home favorites are going down. Why not the Cowboys? You know, who haven't made an NFC Championship since the '90s, who have failed. And Mike McCarthy, last time he was in the playoffs, he lost by 30 points to the Falcons. Like, why not Shanahan come back out here? His last time he was in the playoffs, he had a rough loss in the Super Bowl. You know, should have won that game. Learn how to run the ball. Maybe he transitions and they win the game. Who knows? But also, I think another big it comes down to how Jimmy G plays because like a focal point is I feel like Michael Parsons and George Kittle, you know, like are going like Michael Parsons is going to be on George Kittle, right? What do you
I don't
think?
know. I feel like
I
they're
would
just
think
gonna
they'd
have Micah
be on
Parsons
each
as a
other.
pass rusher, but it's gonna be interesting to see though because Micah Parsons on George Kittle, how because the 49ers and Shanahan they really change up how they use George Kittle because the guy is probably I mean their whole offense is versatile, but George Kittle is super versatile in the fact that they can use him as another tackle if they want, and they can take a pass rusher out of the game. So if Shanahan goes out there and says, "Hey, we want you to just we're going to line you up on the side that Micah Parsons is playing, and we're going to have Micah Parsons double teamed with a guy like George Kittle the entire game. They can take him out of the game if they want, and completely mitigate the impact that he plays on these third downs. So it could be George Kittle not impacting the game and catching a bunch of touchdowns, but sitting there in pass pro, giving Jimmy G time to find guys like Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, and Deebo Samuel down the field. But okay, you have
Yeah, but
any other
also
picks?
just the way, yeah, just the way Kittle's been going this late this season too. It's hard to see him not being a focal point. Yeah, I do. I'm going to rock with I think it's my first teaser of the year, though. I'm rocking my 6-point teaser. I'm heading into Buffalo. Okay. I'm going to take Patriots where I get them at 10 points. I'm going to take them plus 10. And then I'm going to hammer the under at 50 here. Okay. Weather 0 degrees. It might snow. It might not. It looks like it might be like kind of a replica of that first game they played this year, where it's really windy, in Buffalo, and the Pats won by Mac Jones only throwing the ball 3 times. This way, like, I don't know if the Pats going to win it, you know, but if it is like the same kind of like feel to that game, at least I get them at 10 points here. Plus the under, I just feel like it's two divisional rivals going at it in a playoff game. They're going to be button heads. Not many points are going to be scored. You got to remember, Mac Jones, a rookie. Josh Allen sometimes has trouble turning over the ball. We saw that a couple weeks ago. I feel like this could just be an under game, and then just take Belichick to cover 10 points.
Okay, that's an interesting teaser. For some reason, I just don't like taking point totals in the teasers. Specifically,
Yeah, I like doing a little same game. Little same game
because
teaser. See what happens.
yeah, the thing that scared me though is a couple weeks ago, December 26th, the last matchup between the Bills and the Patriots. The Patriots were home. The score total ended up being 54. It was a 33-21 win for the Bills. I'm just scared of something like that happening again. Where I like the Patriots plus 10 leg, but I'm concerned about that under part.
I don't think I'm that concerned about it. Look at the weather. The first time this team matched together, the weather was horrible.
Yeah.
I think we're entering that
same little
conundrum here in Buffalo. Yeah, and
that's big. That it's in Buffalo. That is actually really big. For the under. I think that makes a huge difference.
You seen what the high of temperature is going to be for that game, right? It's 0 degrees. It's not an element chart. It's not real. Like it's 0.
Yeah. Okay. I like the under a little bit.
There's just no way.
All right. Here's a game that I wanted to talk about though. We're getting a third matchup of the Rams against the Cardinals. And if there's anything that has been tried and true for the past couple years, aside from the first matchup they played this year, it's that the Rams beat the Cardinals by 7 or more points.
Own them.
Are we taking the -4 here this weekend? It's a Monday night game. The Cardinals have been kind of iffy. I mean, they had a good win against the Cowboys, which was a little bit controversial with how the refs played a role in that game, but
we're not going to complain though because we picked the Cards that week. So.
Yeah, we're not going to complain. But are we plus $200 -4 with a home game against a Cardinals team that's only won like one game in their past 4? Are we taking it?
Yeah, no. Give me the Rams.
I'm down. 4. Let's do it. Rams -4. Fucking book it, baby.
And this is the main reason why. And it's not a slack on the Cardinals, but the way I saw the Cardinals last year, remember, I thought they were playoff bound. They were a year above. Now I predicted them go to the playoffs this year. We did it, and they were overachieving at some point by being the last undefeated team in the league. But you got to remember, this Rams team is not built for the regular season. They were built to get in the regular season. They're built for the playoffs, okay? They're not going to lose. There's no way the resources this team has put in with getting Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, they have Aaron Donald, you got Cooper Kupp on his freak year. I know you don't have Robert Woods, but then you get Odell Beckham, and he's just as good. He's putting up numbers. And with the run game, Sony Michel, he's the third leading rusher in the last 5 weeks. He's got 500-plus yards.
You got Cam Akers back, too.
You got Cam Akers, but Sony, don't forget about him. He's behind JT, and I can't remember the last running back he was behind in rushing yards. It was someone random. But I know he's behind JT. But still, he's putting up good numbers. I think the Rams are in a good spot. And if we remember that Monday night game, everybody was on the Cardinals. It was at Arizona, I'm pretty sure. and like
Yeah,
the Rams were a +3 dog, and the Rams won outright, and they did so. I just
they
don't
beat them
trust this
30-23 that game, December 13th.
Yeah, I don't trust this Cardinals team to make enough plays to beat this Rams team. Unless Kyler does, like MVP caliber Kyler kind of things to keep him in this game. I don't trust them. I'm taking the Rams. I thought the Rams would be favored a little more. I think it's more of a respect thing from Vegas, but I'm riding Rams. I got to do it.
Yeah, I'm going there as well. This is kind of a beat up Cardinals team to a certain extent as well. Just a lot of good players on this injury report. I think you're right though too. It almost feels like the Rams. The biggest problem with the Rams this season has kind of been themselves, right? Just games where they are the ones making mistakes and throwing the game away, and they did that a lot of the time against good teams. But this is a favorable matchup. I'm taking it. I don't take spreads anymore. Right? I'm a guy that's kind of adamantly against taking spreads. I like this Rams -4 now. I like it a lot.
Back on the spread game.
We're back, baby. Well, I got to take something here. Dude, this is tried and true. We've taken this game how many times? The past 2 years? Like, we've just been on this train where we're taking the Rams against remember, it was actually a funny story. I'm pretty sure it was no, that was the Cardinals against the Niners that we took. That one time in college, remember we were at a party and
we took cards?
Well, yeah, that's when we started. That was because the Cardinals it's like a triangle kind of a thing because the Cardinals play well against the Niners
on that.
And then the Rams
the Niners play good against the Rams destroy the Cardinals. The Cardinals play good against the 49ers, and the 49ers play great against the Rams.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
It makes no sense. Like, Shanahan owns McVay. McVay owns
Kingsbury.
The Cardinals. What's his Kingsbury? I forgot his name. I was thinking Zach Taylor just because the Bengals are just splittering through my mind right now. Because I'm going to take the Bengals low key. Just hold on. But it's the triangle. It's the love triangle. But that's how the NFC West is. It's my favorite division.
Oh, it's awesome. Just great. No, but I remember because we were going to something on a Thursday night. It was either I think it was
our Halloween party.
Yeah, it was our Halloween party, and I was like, "Well, I gotta take something."
Suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna take something because you just have to.
Yeah,
right?
the Cardinals were like fucking like $8.5, and I was like, dude.
Yeah, you were adamant, dude. Take the Cardinals. You won't be upset. I'm like, you know what, Steve? You're right. I'm taking the freaking Cardinals, baby, and it paid off.
And here comes rookie Kyler Murray out there just fucking. They were winning against some. They should have won that game.
Yeah, they should have won that game. And then remember the next season they played week 1 and they beat them out.
And they beat them.
Yeah.
So and they just got a number. I don't know how they did well against this season. I feel like since the Cardinals had a better record than the 49ers, I know they beat them once at least. I think the Cardinals beat them twice.
Swept them. Didn't they sweep them?
Yeah. I think the Cardinals, because I know the 49ers swept the Rams. I know that.
They beat them November 7th, and where's the second game? Where the hell's the second game? I'm not seeing the second game. Am I blind? And they beat him 17-10, October 10th. I think that was the game with that was Trey Lance's first start, wasn't it?
Yeah, what a bomb.
I believe so. So yeah, that's just how it works. All right, let's go into the next pick. We're really dragging our feet here.
Playoff week.
Yeah, it is playoff week. Why not? So you're taking the Bengals? You're taking the Bengals?
Oh, man, give me the 5.5. I give me the 5.5, dude. I'm done. I'm done disrespecting the Bengals. Give me Burrow.
I'm not taking the Raiders.
You don't think so?
Listen, I'll admit where I'm wrong. The Bengals are definitely better than I gave them credit for, but dude, this game is weird to me because I feel like the range of outcomes is I could see the Bengals destroying the Raiders. I could see the Raiders coming out here and, like they've done like the past 4 weeks, shock everyone and play really well.
Yeah.
Um, I
I
don't
think this
know.
is the most toss-up game. I'll be honest with you because like the 49ers Cowboys game in my mind, I think it's just going to be a great game all around, and I think it'll come to the last possession. The Bengals Raiders game, I don't know who the fuck's going to win.
Well,
At the
see,
end of the
the thing
day.
is too, though, is that I feel like we're getting into this category of there's just the Bengals getting too much credit, especially because there's a lot of games. This is starting to reach my favorite line, that -7 or +7 is what I take. Like, dude, hitting the money line on those +7s, which is usually somewhere between +200 to +250, anywhere around there. I think that that's
I'll tell
usually
you
the line of a good team getting underpriced.
now. Listen, it's 5.5, right?
Yeah. I think it's 5 on
Okay.
DraftKings right now. Let me see.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm
I'll
getting
take it at
5.
5.
Yeah, you can have
Okay.
the 5. I'll
Listen,
give it to you.
and this is what's happening. This spread originally after the Raiders beat the Chargers in OT. Welcome, by the way, from Derek Carr. But you're
Thank you,
welcome.
man.
Like Derek Carr saved you. But
yeah, he did. Dude, that was ridiculous. The fact that that game almost ended in goddamn tie.
dude, he was gonna tie. He was, and then Staley called the timeout. He's like, "Fuck this motherfucker! I'm gonna fucking kick it." Like, I mean, like, what are we doing? But which I love that of Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is one of my favorite quarterbacks. But this is what I'm saying is that this spread opened after that win. It opened up at 6.5 because everybody knew the playoff outcomes. Like, all right, who's playing who? They got 6.5. It's down at 5 right now. Public heavy on Raiders. Listen, man, I just don't think you're that good to stick around with these boys. You gotta remember what the AFC North is made out of. Okay, take the Bengals out for a second because I know you're gonna shit on the Bengals. You just don't like the Bengals. You
yeah,
just,
no, I
you just
wasn't
don't
gonna
like.
shit on the Bengals. I just wasn't.
I was waiting for it, but
They silenced me.
–
They proved me wrong. I'll give them credit.
They beat the shit out of the Ravens twice. One with Lamar, one without Lamar. They beat the shit out of y'all twice.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of us twice. Go ahead, rub it in. Salt in the wound.
I'm not selling because I was wrong about the Bengals too. I actually think they lost. I think they lost to the Browns twice. The Browns.
Yeah, they did.
But I mean, so the way I see the Bengals attacking this is they're well rested. I like Joe Burrow in this game, dude. Joe Burrow has always been that guy with this chip on his shoulder, like we keep on giving him this credit, being like, oh, you play for the shitty Bengals, you suck. Oh, you should have drafted Jamar Chase. And then here comes Joe Burrow in his last 2 games throwing for 1,000 yards, and 8 touchdowns. The dude's insane. I'm telling you right now, Bengals fans, you're winning this game, and it's the first time you can text your buddy that you haven't seen in a while and be like, hey, you see us win a playoff game? Because we just did.
Yeah, first text message saying, hey, Bengals won.
First text message.
Bengals
it's happening.
Won that playoff
it's happening. They're a dark horse.
I will give you credit where credit is due. And I'm not taking the Raiders. I'm not confident in the Raiders winning this game because how the hell are they going to match up against the Bengals passing attack is my question. Unless
Burrow's on his game.
Rush. Well, yeah, and I think the only way is that pass rush from the Raiders is getting home all day. Outside of that, I don't see it. Yeah, that's the problem, though, is that you're going to have one of these perfect conundrums where it's like they're able to rush 4 or 5 and get home. Because you're not blitzing the crap out of, how many Ravens games do you have to watch before you say, okay, maybe we shouldn't zero blitz Joe Burrow or rush 6 and have a single high
Joe
safety?
Burrow's like he's like one of the best quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, and not only that, you can go back and watch him at LSU, and it's like the LSU offensive line was not that good. Like, it wasn't bad necessarily. It wasn't great. The guy's been under pressure his whole career.
Yeah, well, there was no first round talent on the offensive line. They had a couple guys go like day 2, day 3, but like it was never like that first round, like that Bama talent,
But yeah, I mean, you saw that, right? When they went up against that Auburn defense, That Auburn defense was getting up. Derek Brown and the boys were coming. All right, and they were getting
Derek Brown,
home.
Marlon Davidson. Yeah, they got home. That was the only one that got them rattled. But I don't know, dude. Like I'm just telling you, there's something different about Burrow. He's so calm.
He's a beast.
Like,
he's so good. Well, the thing
he's like collected.
He's really feeling it right now. You can see, like, I watched.
Well, that's also why I love this bet. Is I think he's just in a groove. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely in a groove, right? Because I watched back. What game was it on All 22? It was the one where Jamar Chase went absolutely buck wild.
That was a couple weeks ago. That was
He had like 200.
It was the game before the Chiefs. Was that the?
No, it was the Chiefs game. Right? It was the Chiefs game. Yeah, you're right. It's the Chiefs game. I watched that Chiefs game back on All 22.
He caught like 200 yards.
Matt Burrow was just everything was clicking, just on time, rhythm, touch, footwork, and that's the thing too is that a lot of the time you can tell how calm and how well a quarterback is playing by his feet, right?
That's the way I look at him. I'm like, damn.
Perfect. All
Dude,
game.
like I had to stab it away because like the Bengals were playing the Chiefs and they were down like 28-14. It was the day after New Year's, and like I'm driving back and I'm listening like the NFL radio on Sirius XM because I want to see what Atlanta's doing against Buffalo. I get back home, I'm watching a little bit of the Bills game, watch the first half, but once the Bills started running away with it, I turned it back into the Bengals game because I see the Bengals start making it a game, and Burrow, like, that just looked 2019 Burrow, just, you know, you got all those Clemson guys on him, and he's sitting there. You got A.J. Terrell on an island. He's just chunking it up to Jamar. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know. I think they got a feeling. They proved us wrong too many times this season where I'm going to bet them. Fuck it. If they prove me, if they lose, then, like, I mean, we could talk about a Cincinnati curse, but I'm going to take them.
I'm trying to see if there's any player props that I want to take or any crazy wild cards.
Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown scorer.
Plus 100, though? I don't love that. Not that I'm saying it can't happen. I'm just like, I feel like I'd almost rather take T. Higgins at plus 130. You know?
Oh, well, T. Higgins. I mean, they got three studs over there. Why not a little Tyler Boyd action?
Dude, what about T. Higgins' first touchdown in that game, plus 900? What are we thinking about that?
That's nasty.
I
like the value. I'll probably take it once it comes game time and it comes open. I mean, I like it. That's the thing about Cincinnati is that you got to realize with their wide receiver unit, those three, that's a top 3 unit in the game. I mean, you got Jamar Chase.
I mean, listen, I'm a Bengals hater. I think it's probably the best. I really like who the hell is better? Who the hell is better than that? I mean, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase alone is nasty. Then you add a guy like Tyler Boyd. It's just like, at that point, it's like, what the fuck? You know? Like, we went from double stuffing to quadruple stuffing real quick on these damn Oreos.
Yeah,
when you add Tyler Boyd on top of the rest of the crew.
The 49ers have a good receiving core, but I don't know if it's that level.
No, nowhere near. I mean, George Kittle is great.
What? Yeah, because you add in Kittle. He does so much more things.
Here's the thing with Kittle, though. Here's the thing with Kittle is that, okay, as football players, yeah, that's different because George Kittle as a blocker is ridiculous. I mean, you get one of the top receiving tight ends and probably the best blocking, tight end in all of football. So, like, yes, they're great. But in terms of pure receiving talent, it's the Bengals. The past couple weeks, no one's been able to stop them.
Yeah, nobody has. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they are the best receiver unit.
I mean, the people will say the Vikings, but no. I'm sorry, it's just not. You have 2, the Bengals have 3. 3 is greater than 2 last time I checked. Titans, no. Chiefs, no.
Cowboys?
I think the problem with the Cowboys is that's kind of like a collection of number 2 guys. I
don't know. Coop's a number 1.
Okay, let me rephrase my statement.
Could be a number 1.
Let me rephrase my statement.
Be a 1.
Let me rephrase my statement. it's a collection of guys that go from being number 1 to number 2 receivers regularly. I think that's the problem. Is that CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper could be number 1s, but I don't think they're consistently good enough to be number 1s. Whereas I think the Bengals have, I mean, Jamar Chase is a number 1 right now. At least damn seems like, and T. Higgins is pretty damn close too. Like, I think that they're both at that level that the Cowboys receivers are. But with Jamar Chase, you have that crazy upside. Plus Tyler Boyd. I'd personally take the Bengals. Like, are you not taking the Bengals receiving core over that Cowboys receiving core?
I will say this, though. If you're talking about player props, I would look into over in receptions and Tyler Boyd. Because if there's going to be third downs, I feel like, and this is just me watching very limited Bengals games, but one thing I noticed, and when I watch their recaps of the games, is if it's third down and it's a guaranteed passing play, Joe Burrow looked for Tyler Boyd because I think he has the most sure hands. So if it's a playoff game and it's driven by third downs and they need conversions, Tyler Boyd over in receptions might not be a bad play.
Okay, so I'm seeing on DraftKings here, Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions is at -170.
That's a lot of juice.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that you'd almost rather it just be 4.5 and just cut out all that juice, right? Have it like -110.
Yeah, sucks. I was thinking it would be somewhere around that. I didn't know it'd be that heavily favored though.
What about Hunter Renfrow over 5.5? How are we feeling about that?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Zay Jones over 4.5 is +110.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of fading the Raiders this game, low-key.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between fading the Raiders and Zay Jones grabbing 5 balls.
I don't know. I just home game,
Dude,
I feel like this might be a game that
Zay Jones, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks has had 5 or more receptions. If you include the last 7 weeks, he's only missed once. I'm taking that. No, fuck it. I'm taking it.
Okay.
Zay Jones, we're out here. He's Derek Carr's guy. They need someone to come up in this playoff game. Zay Jones.
I'm just saying, though, the Bengals and Raiders played earlier this season, and the Bengals won straight up, right? And Burrow threw for less than 200 yards. So he wasn't on the roll that he is now. So if he's able to find a little niche here in this defense, I think this game could get really messy with Burrow. And I might be completely wrong. I might just be talking on my ass. But that's why I'm on the Bengals, dude. I'm done disrespecting them. I'm back on I've always been on the Burrow train. But, this is I have a feeling of that LSU team here,
Man, I really want to take that T. Higgins first touchdown score. There's just something about it that's drawing me off of it.
Dude, you have a unit spare. Just put it on there. If it hits, then you're up 9 units. Boom.
It's funny. Wait, this game is. When is this game being played? I don't even. Actually, I will be watching.
This is Saturday, right? First game, 4:30.
+900. All right, I'm taking it. Screw it. Why not? T. Higgins first touchdown. Book it. See, this is the problem. I'm going to get way too cocky during the playoffs and take a bunch of stupid stuff.
Well, that's the thing about about first touchdown. You just got to hit once on them, and you're fine.
But, man, I just have to. For some reason, I'm feeling it. I feel the surge of T. Higgins. All the T. Higgins truthers on Twitter, please. Let's hear some action for this first touchdown.
Yeah. Let's get some T. Higgins. It's just like the other night. I felt like UGA defense was going to score the first touchdown, which they did.
That
was a pass.
Yes, Steve.
That wasn't a pass.
Steve took first touchdown, like you just said, and it got called back. If you weren't watching the national championship, that first touchdown, which really sucked. That,
I would have made 275 right there.
Yeah, it was what +2,300.
Yeah, +2,300 money. But I had a good night that night because I took UGA spread, I took UGA money line, I took George
So you were
Pickens
on
over
UGA there. I thought you were going to be on Bama because I was on UGA that game.
bait.
You believed in the mailman.
I did.
What changed? You were the biggest mailman hater, I feel like. We got into a long argument
I always
first
loved
game about whether or not the mailman was at fault for that first loss.
Like, listen. All right. Yeah, he kind of was. But also, like, let's not get it wrong right here. Alabama did lose Mechie. They lost Javon Williams. They lost their they lost their 2 starting corners. They had 3 other starters out. I'm not gonna take anything away from Georgia here. Congrats. You finally got your championship after 41 years of top 5 recruiting classes. You finally got one. Nice, way to go. But I was on him that night. It just felt like, I woke up that morning and I was like, you know what? I think UGA ends it tonight.
Well, you want to know what Stetson Bennett is? Stetson Bennett is that classic. He's not a super high overall quarterback in your NCAA 13 or 14 chais, but he just goes out there and he plays well. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he's just good. He's like a solid 83.
Your team around him is sick.
Yeah, and then
you got an 83 overall, and then you got 2 running backs that are 98, 97, then your own line's 98 above, and then you got receivers that are sick as fuck. And then you go to the defense, everybody's a 90 overall and above. Like, yeah, of course. He's going to do well. And he played well. He did. He actually made some really good throws. That throw to Mitchell to give him the lead was a good throw. And that was a great catch by that Mitchell guy. I didn't even know. He's a freshman. Guy to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, he plays well. He plays well. All right, you got any more picks, Mr. Steed?
I do.
What are we getting for? Where are we going for here?
I'm thinking of the games right now. I'm thinking of the games. Hit me with the game. I'll take a pick.
Oh, we're just going ballsy.
All right, I got 2 units to spare.
Let's find one that we haven't taken yet. Let's find a game that we haven't taken. So we got Raiders, Bengals, Patriots, Bills. We have some Bucs in there, some 49ers. Steelers, Chiefs. We haven't touched the Steelers, Chiefs at all. Are you on the consensus that my Steelers are getting blown the fuck out here? Are we just getting our asses kicked? I think we are, to be honest. Like, it's funny. I'm seeing on the Steelers subreddit, you have all these people. It's that 2005 feeling. Everything's against us. It's like, well, shit, yeah. This is the same team that just blew us out 2 weeks ago. Tomlin's all like, yeah, we're changing up the defense. Yeah, you better change up the damn defense. We got our asses kicked. They could score no matter what. Would you trade Kareem Hunt for a 2024 first? Hell yeah, I would trade Kareem Hunt for a 2024 first. Nicholas J. Easy. I got some dynasty questions going on.
Fuck yeah, dude. Kareem Hunt on the Browns. The Browns are going to win the Super Bowl next year. Trust. But, no, I like 12.5 is a lot of points, especially in the playoffs, right? But, like,
what about these specials? What about these specials?
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Go ahead, take it. Give us some more. Give us something. Give us something.
No, I want to know the over/under because I don't want to doubt.
Oh, over/under is actually interesting. Over/under is 45.5. So
give me the over. Sunday night, Chris Collins for Val Michaels there. Big Ben's last game. He's going to at least sling 17 points out there. He's going to give you 17. So at that point, if the Raiders roll, then you need. Oh, yeah, you're chilling. I like that. 45, you said? 45.5?
Yeah, 45.5. You want to go for anything crazy? I'm seeing on these Draftkings specials, most passing yards on Wildcard weekend, on Super Wildcard.
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Yeah. What are those?
All right, Tom Brady plus 450, Stafford plus 600, Burrow's plus. That's actually who I was thinking about as well because I could easily.
I think Burrow's a good bet. I think Burrow's a great bet.
If you took a combination of Burrow and Dak, plus 600 and 750 respectfully, like, kind of nice, pretty nice. I mean, our guy Stafford, if he's going to continue to own the Cardinals, playoff
I think
specials,
they're
most
gonna run the
receiving
ball.
yards. This is for the entire playoffs. So you can take who's going to have the most receiving yards over the entire playoffs.
Then you're just banking on who's going to make it longest. I think I would just bank on either Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp, right?
Yeah, Leonard Fournette plus 700 most rushing yards throughout the playoffs. I mean, you're betting on Brady going to a Super Bowl. It's like, fuck, I've heard worse ideas.
Yeah, I mean, like Brady going to a Super Bowl, that's about damn sure going to happen.
You can try and predict
right?
the conference final, which unfortunately my Chiefs Bills prediction is not possible from the preseason. Because if they both win, they're going to play each other because 2 and 3 seed. The Titans are the 1 seed, they play the lowest seed.
Yeah. Oh no, I want the Titans to win the AFC, so
you can bet if a playoff game will go to overtime. The no is at plus 130. We taking any of that?
The no is at plus 130 to go. When was the last time you saw a playoff game go to OT?
You're putting me on the spot here. I'm one too many drinks in to remember.
Think about it. I think last time the playoff game went to OT was Super Bowl 51. Falcons Patriots, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think this is for any playoff game. Yeah, this is any NFL.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I don't think any of them gone to OT. And the only game I could see going to OT.
Well, I mean, first comes first. You have the Broncos Steelers overtime that will live forever in.
Well, that happened before. That happened before Super Bowl 51.
I don't remember. There definitely has been.
Since Super Bowl 51, I don't think there has been.
Oh, are you going to take it? The no plus 130? No playoff game to go to overtime this year?
Yeah, just give it to me. Sprinkle a unit on there. Sprinkle a unit, dude. Plus 130. The only game that scares me that goes to OT. Actually, there's two. But Cowboys 49ers scares me going to OT. I feel like that game's going to be really close. And it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, but that's just this week. We're talking every round of the playoffs. None of these games can go to overtime.
Yeah, we're talking 3 rounds. Like, I don't think a playoff game has gone to OT since Super Bowl 51.
Well, I don't think 4 games this week go to overtime.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That honestly, I get plus money in that odds. It's not going to happen. I'm going to win. And there we go.
All right.
I love that bet.
All right, we've spent way too much time on picks already. We got to go to beginning of the season stuff. All right, get this off the screen. Here's the picks for the week. If you're interested, bang. Now we're going to go over our takes from the offseason. So I actually probably should have had this ready to go beforehand. But what do you want to get into first? We had our futures bets from the beginning of the year, like MVP and all that stuff, or should we get into the over-unders that we took? We took season total over-unders for those who don't know.
Let's go into MVP shit.
MVP stuff. All right. I have it somewhere around here. Here we go.
Or stuff, yeah.
So, our MVP picks. It's funny because we had a guest on for this episode, and I think our guest is the guy who got it right. Me and you kind of fluttered around 2 names mainly, Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott. Kyler Murray for the first half of the year was looking great, right? He looked like he was going to take it home. He's in the mix. Our buddy Dan, who was on that podcast, took Aaron Rodgers, who I think is the favorite right now to two-peat it. So those were our 3.
Yeah, unless they give it to Brady.
Yeah, Brady's definitely in there, right? I think statistically speaking, Brady leads the league in touchdowns, passing yards as well.
Yeah, I know he just went off this year. It was a solid year for him too. I think the 3 leads though is Brady, Rodgers, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, we were only going quarterbacks. We did not go anywhere near.
Well, like Jonathan Taylor's not going to win it, but like yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to see an article here. Latest predictions. Cooper Kupp might be around there. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Cooper Kupp. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers is minus 500 to win it right now, apparently. Or 3 days ago, he was minus 500.
Oh
So,
damn!
dude, shout
I'm
out
gonna get
Dan.
bet back.
Yeah, Dan was saying the two-peat. So, Mr. Dan, good for you shouting out that two-peat. We're going to somewhat take credit for it, though, because it was on the pod. He was one of the 3 names that
Yeah,
we mentioned.
we're gonna take half
Um,
your units.
I forget what the odds were. I think he was like plus 700 or 800, somewhere around there to win it. Um,
Yeah, I
our
mean he had to be
offensive
one of the
rookie of the
favorites.
year, we missed completely. I took Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, that combo. They both missed. You took Trevor Lawrence, that missed. I mean, Jamar Chase is probably going to win it this year. See, where we kind of messed up,
I
our
didn't take
argument.
Jamar Chase.
No, well, see, our argument at the time was this is just the best quarterback, the best rookie quarterback award, because we had seen Justin Jefferson break a bunch of rookie records, yet still not win it. But all the
Yeah.
quarterbacks aside from Mac Jones basically flopped, and Jamar Chase then broke Justin Jefferson's records. So it looks like Jamar Chase is basically a lock for offensive rookie of the year. You did say you kind of wanted to take him though, because you were a big Jamar Chase guy. So I'll give you a little bit of credit. Defensive
shout
rookie
out
of the
to college
year.
players. You don't have to play that last season.
Yeah, defensive rookie of the year. I completely missed. I took Zaven Collins, who I think he made a lost his starting job halfway through the season.
Did I take Micah?
Yeah, well, he was one of your 2 guys. Your main guy was Owosu Koromoa, but you said also Micah Parsons, I think, would be number 2 for you. So they were 2 guys that played very well. And if Micah Parsons didn't exist, Owosu Koromoa would probably be in the running for the award. So, Mr. Steed, we give you the first bona fide hit defensive rookie of the year, Micah Parsons. Congratulations. But now we're going to get to defensive player of the year, where I'm going to claim as of right now, and I goddamn hope my hit, easy TJ Watt.
I mean, yeah.
That was my guy.
22.5 sacks. Whew.
I fucking hope he wins it. What else does the guy have to do to finally win this defensive player of the year? I
he's
took
the reason
TJ
why
Watt.
you are in there.
You picked Darius Leonard, which I don't think is a bad shout. Unfortunate that TJ Watt tied the sack record.
Yeah.
You also flew around Myles Garrett that was in there. So Myles Garrett would be one of the other main guys that is in contention. Comeback player of the year. Now, here's where it gets a little bit weird, because I took Saquon, no shot. You took CMC, got injured again. But the one thing that's weird is that you took Dak for MVP, who's probably in the running for comeback player of the year now, because he's not going to get MVP. And Joe Burrow, I think there's the argument of he kind of played half of the season last year. So should he be comeback player? It's a little bit murky for comeback player of the year.
I think comeback player of the year should stand with that. The player should have a duration in the league. Dak's been in the league. Then he got hurt. Joe Burrow got hurt because of faulty O-line and the team fucking sucked ass. Basically this was his rookie year plus his sophomore year. It was half a year to see what you got and then some. Dak Prescott, we know what you can deliver. Just give it to us some more.
Yeah, I agree with you in that I would think that Dak should be comeback player of the year, because it feels like Dak is legitimately coming back from that major injury. He's coming back, right? Joe Burrow felt he was good. He's coming back from an injury, don't get me wrong, but he played half the year. He played well. It doesn't feel like he has that comeback story behind it. I feel like that is part of comeback player of the year, right? You're really coming back and went from 0 to crazy. To me, that was Dak Prescott this year. So that's who I would give it to. Last one, coach of the year. I felt like I did pretty fucking good. Now, coach of the year is kind of murky. We don't know who the hell is going to get it. My 2 guys were McVay and Belichick. Your 2 guys were Stefanski, Belichick. We kind of both agreed on Belichick there. So we're kind of riding on Belichick to win it. Yeah, it probably should be Vrabel, though.
It should be Vrabel.
But
100% should be.
I think that Belichick is definitely in the conversation.
No, he's in there. It's probably him, Zach Taylor, of course.
Oh,
Kingsbury
you
probably
can't
in
give a
there.
coach of the year if someone hasn't made the playoffs. Oh, no, never mind. You're
No,
right.
what?
Zach Taylor. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the Chargers freaking coach. What's his name?
Oh yeah, I was about to say I thought that was the whole present of Coach of the Year was to get a
Okay, so
team
the
that
top
sucked
three right
ass
now:
to the playoffs.
Vrabel's minus 185, Zach Taylor's plus 250, LaFleur plus 350. Unfortunate that
It sucks
Belichick
for LaFleur.
isn't around there.
I don't count him out, but like I think Vrabel should get it because like even though we love Ryan Tannehill, we all know Ryan Tannehill is not like Patrick Mahomes or someone like that, you know. And from Halloween on, he had to play without Derrick Henry, which by the way, Derrick Henry is still 10th in the league in rushing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Like,
He's nasty.
he's just 10th in the league in rushing. There he is. Like he played 6 games, but there he is. But I just think that's a really great coaching job to lose your best player. We all know Derrick Henry's the best player in the Titans. And then you got to go out there and win the 1 seed where you got home playoff. Think about what this team was 2 years ago. I mean, like this was a team that had Marcus Mariota. Vrabel benched him for Tannehill. They fought, they grinded, they got the 7 seed, they made the AFC Championship. They haven't looked back from that. They haven't looked back. This is second year winning the division. This year they get the 1 seed. I mean, you got to give it Vrabel.
Yeah, I think it should be
Give it to him.
Vrabel. Dude, Belichick was damn close, though. I think if he wins the division, it's Belichick's award, going for with a rookie quarterback winning the division. Brandon Staley should be fired. I wouldn't go that crazy. I actually kind of like Brandon Staley, but I think it was kind of annoying seeing the Chargers not be in the playoffs when they should 100% be in over the Steelers. The Chargers are a better team than the Steelers. And
maybe don't call the timeout.
Yeah, maybe don't call. I don't know, because it's a really interesting discussion. The fourth down and 2-point conversion decisions they made.
The Raiders were playing for the tie.
Well, I was kind of talking about weeks earlier, especially in that Chiefs game, where like they went for every fourth down, every 2-point conversion, basically. And I mean, I agreed with a good amount of them, but I don't agree with his philosophy of, oh, we're an aggressive team. We're always going to be aggressive. I think that that's a little bit, what's the right word? A little bit arrogant, a little bit like stupid.
But
I
then
don't think
again,
you
in
should go
that
for
Sunday
it
night
every
game,
time.
That's what kept them in the game, is being aggressive. I mean, the 4th and 21, they convert that, they get a touchdown. Like.
Well, see, I would lean on the era of aggression. I don't disagree with being aggressive. I disagree with always being aggressive. And every single decision where it's close, we just lean on the fact that we're an aggressive team and we're always going to go for it. I think that there are times, especially when you bring up that Chiefs game that we talked about, like when that first drive, we can go up 3-0, get a lead. I'm going to kick the field goal, right? It's 4th and 5 at the goal line. We just had Mike Williams get hurt. We dropped another touchdown. I'm gonna take the field goal to get the lead. The one at halftime that a lot of people disagree with, I'm fine with going for it there, because what's the fucking point of making a 14-10 game a 17-10 game against the Chiefs? That does nothing. Right? Making it a 2-score game, that's something. That's a tangible lead. All of a sudden, that changes the complexity of the game and the complexion of the game. 17-10, 14-10 is basically the same fucking thing. When you're up against an offense that's the Chiefs caliber, like they're not, the Chiefs aren't a team that's getting their points with field goals. They're getting touchdowns. So I at least agree with that one.
Yeah.
But not every single time. All right, so in terms of our Super Bowl picks and NFC, AFC championship, Browns.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, your Browns fucked you this year. You went all in on the Browns and it boned you.
Yeah, I did. I went all in. I'm gonna take a piss at that though. Like, you take control. I'll come back and talk about the Browns. The Browns, unfortunate loss this season. Terrible.
Yeah, so you still got the Bucs though. My Super Bowl pick, the Rams, are still in the contest. unfortunately, my AFC championship of Bills Chiefs is not possible because they're the 2 and 3 seed. But my AFC champion, the Bills, are still in there as well. All right, Steve. God damn it. On the pod. What are we doing here, bud? So my guys are still in it. Let's see. Let's go into the over-unders. Where am I? Yeah, all right, here we are. Over-unders. Let's see if I can actually get these bad boys on the screen. So this year, me and Steed, we both went. Let me get it correct. Okay, Steed's coming back here.
Hear that? I thought I was already too far gone.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for taking us on your trip there. All right, here we go.
Welcome.
Going into over-unders here. Bring this back on the screen. So, all right, don't mind the names on the side if you're watching on YouTube. This is from 2020. Let's roll this over, actually. How do I do this? Gotta edit this sheet on the fly. Hide columns, bang. All right. This should work. Where are the team names? Where are the team names? There we are. Hide columns, bang. All right. Here's our over-unders for this year. We both went 17, 12, and 3, both down from last year, unfortunately. I think you were 18 wins and whatever the math checks out on the back end with 2 draws. And I was at 22 wins with whatever.
You had 20 plus.
Yeah, something around that. If you're interested, you can count up these greens, reds, and yellows.
But we still went. We had a winning record, you know?
Yeah, we had a winning record. Listen, I'm not really too upset with going 17, 12, and 3. I actually thought we did worse, to be completely honest, when I was thinking back in my head before I went and did all the win totals. All right, so let's go into biggest misses first. Let's go into the biggest misses. I got to say, the biggest miss has to be the Bengals. We both hit the under. I dissed the fuck out of the Bengals this year, and I got bit in the ass for it.
Well, listen back to that episode too. Is when we got on to the Bengals, we shat on them so hard.
Oh yeah, we went in on them. I did at least.
I they had been the doormat of the AFC North for a while, you know, but we went in on them. And the thing is, they just turned it around and they won the division. So it's not. It would have been one thing if they squeezed in and got the 7 seed, you know.
Yeah, they squeezed out.
No, they get. Yeah, no, they get a home playoff game. And it's just damn. All right, well, we missed out on them, you know. Which now thinking back at it, I mean, you have a good quarterback. I think he was the head coach for us, right, Zach Taylor. And was
I still don't like Zach Taylor, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what he does in the playoff.
All right, other biggest miss easily has to be the Jaguars. Not only did they suck, their coach got fired because of. I mean, there's not one reason. There's a whole list of reasons.
There's multiple reasons. There's multiple reasons that Urban Meyer The thing is, he was great at Florida, great at Ohio State. He had to come to the NFL and just decided to troll because he just did unspeakable things. Not harsh things, but grinding on girls at bars and all that.
Yeah, kicking kickers and everything.
Yeah, kicking kickers and everything like that. What are we doing, Urban? What are we doing?
Yeah, that is absolutely wild.
Because I still think that's a talented squad that could have won 2 or 3 more games.
Yeah, they had some unfortunate injuries, and I mean the defense was just a mess. I thought the defense would be a little bit better and take some strides.
Played damn good against the fucking Colts week 18,
and against the Bills, but every other week they sucked ass.
They show up against the good teams. So if the Jags ever make it to the playoffs, watch out.
Yeah, I guess our other big miss was the Giants because. We thought the Giants would take some strides this year and be a dangerous team, a potential fringe playoff team. Yeah, that was our Hooters Super Bowl bet. For those who don't know, we every year we're now taking a team that is like what plus 5,000 at least.
Yeah.
I think it's plus 5,000 or above to win the Super Bowl. That was the Giants this year, and they sucked. They were awful.
They were awful. I mean, like you see why. I mean,
yeah, they were just terrible.
Joe Judge fired. Like it was a shit show. It was a shit show season. And the thing that I hate about I love the Hooters bet, but the thing I hate about it now is that we're just a year too early on the Raiders, dude. There they are.
Yeah. That was our team. All right, I guess our last biggest miss would be the Cowboys. Probably we both. I'm kind of kicking myself for this one because we kind of both accepted the fact that the Cowboys were the best team in the division, but for some reason didn't think that they would get that 9.5. Maybe it's because if you see over here, we both hit the under on 10 last year, so we thought the same thing would happen under Mike McCarthy, but they completely turned it around, and in a large part, it was due to your guy DQ, Dan Quinn, getting that defense from a bottom-tier unit into a unit that was pretty damn respectable this year.
You know, the thing is about DQ, you don't want to face him when he's pissed. All right, listen, like he puts together a scheme that you can't stop when he's pissed. But in all seriousness, I mean, the Cowboys, we knew they were talented. We should have just taken the over on talent there. You know, it sucks. You know, we didn't hit on that. I honestly though, if I go back, I don't hate it. It's because like when I was listening to the episode, we were both just like, McCarthy's not the guy, you know? Like McCarthy might not be it. And we were kind of both out on McCarthy, even though he could smash so many watermelons, but that's how it goes.
All right, let's go to the biggest hits now. I think in general, our strat of, for the most part, basically besides the Jaguars, and this is going to sound stupid, but bear with us, fading the bad teams definitely worked out. I mean, you look at Texans, hit that under a 4.5. Where's the Lions? Here we are. Lions, under 5. Jets, under 6.5. Like, if there's, and honestly, we should have taken the under of the Jaguars at 6.5. Like, if there's, I mean, the Eagles hit the over of 6.5, and we both took that, which is probably one of our other biggest hits. But in general, with these over-unders, there's a trend. These teams that are priced very bottom of the league, like if you're thinking coming in, like, oh, well, that line is so low, they have to be able to win the X many games. Dude, the past 2 years, it's been the teams that suck. There's one that will change their tide, right? And for some reason, it's usually in the NFC East. 2 years ago, it was the Washington football team. This year, it was the Eagles. But it's going to sound stupid, but if that line is low, it's low for a reason. It's probably going under.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked 2 years in a row. I mean, granted, we missed out on the Jags line doing that, you know, sucks, but
yeah,
sometimes when you take the over-unders, you just got to bet on good teams, you know, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's the gist of it.
But,
or teams that have a history.
Wins. I mean, the Broncos, we kind of hit the nail on the head. This was a team that we were like, listen, 8.5 is literally just 2 games too many. This is the one team in the division that doesn't have a quarterback. They're out of it.
I think Steelers was a big win.
Patriots the Steelers was a good win. The Raiders was definitely a good shot because we were saying that, hey, this Broncos 8.5 should be on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Colts under, we both hit. I think that was pretty good because that was a playoff team that we both hit the under on.
Huge 2 losses there.
Somehow, and for some reason, we both took the over on the Eagles, and I cannot explain to you why we did that. Like we just did.
It's something about that division, dude. Like you just gotta pick like a dog. Be like, this team could make a run. You know, this team could make the playoffs.
Well, for me,
but like my words were like, I don't know. It just seems like an Eagles thing to hit the over this year. You know, like it just seems like it would hit.
well, I think part of my reasoning was that I really like that draft class: Devontae Smith, Lander Dickerson.
Yeah, you were big on Jalen Hurts, and like Devontae Smith was your number one coming out. Mine was Jamar Chase, which like both played extraordinary this season. And are pivotal roles why their teams are playing this late in the season. But you know,
Well, yeah, I guess
because
that's
like
the
they
other
also
big
got
reason was that I was big on Jalen Hurts. I mean, I wasn't huge on Jalen Hurts. I wasn't coming out here and saying that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league. But when we did that analysis on Jalen Hurts, I definitely came away believing more in Jalen Hurts than I initially did. All right, like
they also drafted Landon Dickerson too.
yeah, I like that.
Bama.
I guess the other one, Rams. We were both really big on the Rams. I have them as my Super Bowl pick, but it's not like you were far behind. We both love this Rams team. Buccaneers, no question about it. We were just like, hey, Tom Brady, Buccaneers, they're going to come back. This is a team that's got it figured out. And I guess last one is the Saints, right? The Saints, we were both like, listen, we've seen Sean Payton with Drew Brees go and hit 8-9 win seasons. There's no way that without Drew Brees, he's going back and covering 9.
Oh, they pushed.
They pushed. Oh wait, did they?
Didn't they go 9-8?
I thought they went 8-9. Let's see, Saints record.
I'm pretty sure they went 9-8.
Yeah, they did. Actually, that's a push. I got it wrong. So there were 4 pushes this year.
I mean, like, listen, a push at the end of the day is a win. Yeah, you got to take it.
All right, so we went 16, 12, and 4. My bad. I thought they went 8-9. All right, but let's get that off the screen. Anything else on the beginning of the season stuff? Oh yeah, actually, I forgot about this. Our beginning of the season just picks. I went 5-7. Steve, you went 4-7. We both got boned on the Baker Mayfield over. I missed the Big Ben over by like 150 yards. You missed the Derek Carr over on passing touchdowns by 2, I believe. Brandon Ayuk missed my over on his receiving yards by 50 yards. You took the Burrow under 4,200 passing yards, which kind of blew up. Calvin Ridley over 10 touchdowns was unfortunate because he decided he wasn't going to play football anymore.
Yeah, that shouldn't count. Like, that just shouldn't. I should get my money back for that.
DJ Moore over 6 touchdowns is unfortunate. We both took Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 900 rushing yards, I believe, which he did not hit. Baker Mayfield did not hit under 11.5 picks, Mr. Steed. And J.C. Horn, unfortunately, only had 1 of your 2 interceptions before he got hurt. I think if he plays the whole year, he gets that second pick, unfortunately.
Oh, easily. He got hurt like week 5, week 4 or something.
Yeah. Last ones I missed on. Juju did not hit 790 yards. That's an unfortunate injury one. Godwin got way over his 83.5 receptions. And Eckler hit his rushing total by like 70 yards that I took the under on. Now let's get into the hits. We both took the Tua under on passing yards. Tua under 4,000 passing yards. He got like 2,600. That hit by a country mile. Speaking of one that hit by a country mile, 2 more. DJ Chark under 915.5 yards. He got injured after like a week or 2. And Cooper Kupp over 6.5 touchdowns for you was a blast because Cooper Kupp went absolutely freaking crazy.
Yeah, he did. What a shout. What a shout for Coop.
Speaking of another shout, if I'm going to toot my own horn, James Conner over 590.5 rushing yards. He went crazy as well.
Yeah, he had a good season for Arizona.
you took the Calvin Ridley under on receiving yards at 1350 after taking the over on touchdowns. That's a good amount. And another really good one from you, Jonathan Taylor, over on rushing yards at almost 1,200 rushing yards. That hit by a long shot, which I felt was high at the time, surprisingly.
It's back in the league. Vegas knows.
Jalen Reagor, I hit the under on receiving yards at 675.5. That hit by like 400 yards. The guy put up like 200 yards.
He's trash.
Aaron Rodgers under 8.5 picks. To me, that was a lock. It was a little scary after week 1 when he threw like 2 or 3 picks that week 1 game, but after that, he was classic old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Any other ones? I think that's it on that front. And that's our takes from the beginning of the season.
That's funny. Just taking Calvin Ridley's over in touchdowns, but taking his under receiving.
Well, yeah, I mean, your reasoning was I listened back, and the reasoning was fine. You were just like, listen, 1350 is just too many yards, right? Like, you thought Calvin Ridley was going to be good, but not, like, that good. So, hey, whatever works.
You got to play to be that good. But, you know.
All right, so we had on tap the coaching carousel. Yeah, we got some time. We could do it. We were going to just rank the landing spots. We'll get more into who we think should go where and whatnot probably next episode, but we decided we were going to rank the head coaching landing spots. And number 1, we decided on the Raiders. I think this one's pretty simple. You have a playoff team, a quarterback that I think Derek Carr's a franchise quarterback, to be honest. I think he's a franchise level quarterback.
I mean, he's proved it by now.
So you have the franchise quarterback, you have a playoff roster, whether it's a good one or not, that's a different question. But you have a playoff roster, you have the quarterback. Dude, if you're going into Vegas, it's a really attractive landing spot for free agents. I mean, who doesn't want to play in Vegas, right? I just think that this is a kind of, hey, all you really need to do is just kind of coast. Just keep the status quo, and you can have success with this Raiders team. So I think that in terms of attractive landing spots, you don't have to be the next Bill Belichick to have success in Las Vegas. You just got to manage the ship. Just steer the wheel, and you have a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe next year I pick up a couple defensive pieces, especially in secondary, because they lost a couple guys in the secondary. I know they lost the guy from Auburn they took in the first round a couple years ago. What's his name?
Yeah, no, Ohio State you're talking about. That Arnett, David Arnett.
Ohio State. Yeah, David Barnett, yeah. So they need to work that, but like, I mean, you got Max Crosby, who has shown out this year.
Yeah, that D-line, like, Max Crosby was always good, and they had some other good pieces, but it got a lot better really quickly this year. And Yannick Ngakoue as well played very well.
Yeah, that was the thing, is that, you know, their O-line has some great pieces, like including Justin Hudson.
No, he's on Cardinals. Cole Miller's the guy in that offensive line, that tackle out of UCLA.
Yeah, I'm saying they got rid of him.
Oh, okay. They got rid of him. I thought you said they had him. My bad.
Yeah, I'm saying they shift the O-line to the D-line. It seems like this offseason, you know, they got rid of some O-line pieces. Well, questionable at first, but I think they trusted Derek Carr more to make plays. Like, we know you're a good quarterback. You can make plays under duress. We need to focus more on the defensive side. And then it opened up cap room for them to bring in some D-line pieces. I think it was a little give and go there. I mean, listen, the Raiders at one point, I think it was like when the Raiders beat the Broncos, it was the winner of that game got 20% chance to make the playoffs. The team had a storybook run to make the playoffs, and now they're the first wildcard team. They're a 5 seed. I think they did everything right. I mean, like, honestly, their interim head coach might get a look at being the full-time.
Yeah, Rick Pisaccia, I believe his name is. Well, that's the interesting thing that I wanted to bring up before we moved on to our second team is that there is a chance that they hang on to him as the head coach. I mean, he brought, he kind of solved the Raiders' issue of at the end of the season they always collapsed. It looked like that was coming,
Oh
but
yeah.
really low key, they've won 4 straight games into a playoff spot. Right? Like that is something that Gruden
They
had
won games
struggled
when
to
they had
do.
to.
Yeah, they won
Won
games when they
games when
had
they had
to,
to.
under pressure, and without guys like a Darren Waller, and without with an offensive line that a lot of people coming into this season thought was going to be one of the worst in the league, right? It turned out they were average, which is good for that group at least. And
When
especially in
you have a
terms of
good
how much
quarterback like Derek
relief they had
Carr.
on the cap. Yeah, Derek Carr really showed that he's a franchise quarterback this year. They really overcame a lot of expectations. So I think the
Dude,
Raiders, they're
what
average in cap right now. I believe they're right about 16 or 17 in projected cap room for 2022. So it's not, and they have all their draft picks. It's not like you're going into a situation where you can't maneuver anything if you're a head coach. Like you have a good roster, you have a good amount of assets to have control and put
it's a team.
your influence on the team. Listen, this is a job where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just get this group a little bit better. And dude, you've seen that this team, aside from that last matchup against the Chiefs, has given the Chiefs a run for their money in a couple of games.
Yeah. But one thing I will say, and we'll toot our own horn here, is that, for the last year or two, we've been huge on Derek Carr when community's not. Now everybody's high on Derek Carr, right?
We've
I
been
mean,
huge
that's
on
going
the
to
Raiders in
happen.
general. We just kind of like the direction
Yeah.
that they were heading.
But, like, everybody now in media is going to be like, gaslighting or jerking off Derek Carr just because he made playoffs. Like, listen, we've been on this train for a while. We knew Derek Carr was good.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't take that much to look at a quarterback and just like see how he plays and be like, dude, damn, the team sucks around you, but you're good. Like, dude, I watch it every Sunday. Like it's not that hard. But what I'm trying to get at, I've been seeing some videos, like on Instagram, and it's like cool videos, like of it's like who's going to make a run to the playoffs, and it like snaps into this like cool like background music and it drops in the scene. It's like Derek Carr just running out of the tunnel. It's like it's awesome. It's awesome. I'll send you one, but it's cool. It's so cool.
All right,
I'm glad for him, dude. Like Fresno State boy slinging the pill.
Yeah. All right, number 2, we decided on the Denver Broncos, one of their division rivals, for the sole reason that, man, there's not a lot you have to do on this team aside from get the quarterback to be in the playoffs and to be a real force in the playoffs. So we were thinking you come in here. Yeah, you can come in here as a head coach, do everything you can to pick up Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, whoever's on the block at the given time, whoever you can spend all your picks to get, and you have a team that can make a run. And you don't have to be anything crazy as a head coach to get that done and have that as a realistic possibility.
Like, yeah, you're right. They're a legit QB, like not like a top 5 QB, but like let me put in like a Derek Carr QB from being like legit team. And let me throw you with this idea. I'm gonna take it from a Falcons point of view right here. But like, with the Broncos trade for Matt Ryan,
Yeah, I think I would shoot higher first. Like if Aaron Rodgers does want to leave, like I'm going for Rodgers.
All right.
But
he's
yeah,
not gonna leave.
I mean, listen, Matt Ryan's an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock for sure. But you don't have to come in here and build a team from scratch. You have the team. You had a great draft class last year. You have a good-ass defense. You have cap space. Basically, everyone's under contract for next year. The pieces are there, and you have all your draft picks. You still have a little bit of cap space.
They got arguably one of the best secondaries in the league. You got Justice Simmons, you got Surtain. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and you have young players that are going to come into their own. Noah Fant is going to be his 3rd or 4th year in the league. Jerry Jeudy's got a couple years in the league. Courtland Sutton, right? Like you just extended him. you have the pieces intact. Maybe
Javonte
you need
Williams.
a left tackle, but you can get that, especially if you get the quarterback. So we have them at number 2. Number 3, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, this one's a little weird, but it's just at the end of the day, the situation is very favorable to have the Dolphins as a very good team. They have the most cap space in the NFL, I'm pretty sure, or most projected cap space, excuse me. You have plenty of draft capital at your disposal. I believe next draft class they have 2 first-round picks. You have the 49ers first-round pick this year. You have a fringe playoff roster. The only reason that, or one of the main reasons this team is at 3 and not higher, is that they kind of tip their hand at the fact that you have to stick with Tua. There's no, oh, what if we trade for a Rodgers or a Watson or this or that? No. Tua is the quarterback that you've been dealt. And at the same time, it's like you're probably going to have to just deal with the roster your GM gives you. They sided with the GM over the coach once already. That's kind of a red flag if you're a coach wanting to come in here and make a bunch of drastic changes and a bunch of different moves. You're going to have to Andy Reid this one. You're just going to have to say, hey, I don't give a fuck who the guys that I'm given are. I trust the guys in the front office to give me the best possible team, and I'm going to just have whatever's dealt. Whatever hand is dealt, I'm going to play with. So if you're one of those guys, this is a great opportunity because the Dolphins have a ton of room to maneuver, especially in free agency, right? They could bring in a ton of pieces on offense to fix up that offensive line, to get a couple more weapons and fill in the gaps. It's just that's probably going to be at the GM's word instead of yours.
Yeah, I feel like if you go into the next coach, you're not making it of your own. Like it's more of a control system. Like you implement your system, but the players you have around you is set. And the GM has his mind of what players are coming in, what players are coming out, who you can play with. You can win Tua. The Dolphins won 7 out of the last 8 games. They were playoff friends there. You can win with Tua. Like even Tua this year, it felt like he was banged up a little bit and never really got a true full season. Like you saw Joe Burrow get that full season.
Yeah, you have to be a Tua guy. You got to be a Tua guy to come in here. You got to say, hey, I can win games with Tua Tagovailoa as my quarterback. And this is a good opportunity for you.
I don't know if you win a Super Bowl, but maybe you can.
You could definitely be a factor to put your team in the competition, put your team in the tournament for the playoffs. Number 4, this is our last tier 1 job we have as the Jacksonville Jaguars. And speaking of quarterbacks, the main reason is Trevor Lawrence, right? You got T-Law. We're not giving up on T-Law. We're both big T-Law guys. You have the 3rd most cap space, and by a fraction of pennies compared to the Chargers for number 2, right? So you have a ton of cap space. Now, I think the problem is compared to some of the jobs that we already mentioned is that you're going to have to build the roster around your quarterback, which is easier said than done. But you're coming in here. The Jaguars fan base after Urban Meyer, there's no expectations to get this team in the playoffs next year, right? There's no.
They were wearing clown suits week 18.
Yeah, they were literally wearing clown suits, right? Like this organization, they want everyone gone. They're looking to just latch on to any hope possible. So you should have some time. You have one of the better quarterback prospects to come out. He looked great week 18. We still believe in Trevor Lawrence. You have a couple of good players here and there. You're going to get a guy like Travis Etienne back. You have all your draft picks. So the Jaguars, while there's a lot of work to be done, you're going to be given that leeway, and you have a ton of assets at your disposal to get it done in terms of cap space and draft capital. So Jaguars, last tier 1 job available at our 4th ranked job coming into this year.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Mr. Steve?
Just don't hire Urban Meyer.
Yeah, just don't start kicking kickers and doing the the list of shit that Urban Meyer did. Just don't do that.
I know we don't want to talk about projections, but the guy from Iowa State, what's his name? Matt Campbell?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he would do great on Jacksonville. I think he'd be great. I think that would be good next.
Yeah,
You
Matt
know, you just got
Campbell.
to get a guy. You don't want
Yeah,
to
I
get
think
game
that they were
managers. You got
looking
to
at
get a guy who knows.
they were looking at an offensive guy to develop T Law. You know, a Kellen Moore or a Nathaniel Hackett. There
How
was a
about
couple
this?
other guys running around. Now,
You get Matt Campbell, then you just hire Joe Brady. Like Joe Brady is like stick
I'm
cut
actually
short
more
in
in line with
Carolina.
you. Is that I think that T Law, like obviously he needs development, but I think that he just needs more reps than he does a guy telling him everything he needs to know. It's like if I'm in Jacksonville, I don't need a guy to develop T Law. I need a guy to develop a damn organization around T Law, right?
Yeah,
Like T Law is the last
that's
of
why
my
I want.
goddamn concerns. I think he'll be able to figure it out himself. He's a professional dude. Like this is a
And that's what I
great
thought in
ass
that rule
quarterback
too.
program. He'll figure it out. Like, let's get a guy to develop an organization and not get a guy just to focus on the quarterback. Because I think
And
that
that's
all
where
the
you.
problems with Jacksonville is the team around it.
Yeah, and that's the comparison you can do with the thirds. You know, I feel like Matt Rule is like a team guy. You know, he can create a team around you. He just doesn't have the quarterback. The Jags, on the other hand, don't have the team around T Law, but have the quarterback. So, like, you know, if you find a coach in that area, they can create just like I talk about it, but like create a culture, just change the fit a little bit. You know, get a team on the field that can compete, and then you hire a decent OC. Like I think Joe Brady
Exactly.
was cut. I think Joe Brady was cut short for bullshit. I'll be honest with you. Like, what does Joe Brady had to work with? You got to work with Sam Darnold, who I think is blind, and then you got to work with Cam Newton, who we all know is washed and has been ass for the last 3 years.
Yeah, CMC's
So
hurt. Like, it was a
yeah,
rough
like the
situation.
team sucks. The team sucks. So I think maybe you give him another
Well,
crack
yeah,
at it. I
that's
don't
my
think his
argument.
days
It's
are
like
done.
it's like find a head coach to build an organization, which is a lot more difficult than finding an OC to develop a quarterback. There are plenty of OCs that were not great head coaches that could develop quarterbacks, right? Especially when they're given a good fucking roster, right? Like, let's focus on the organization before the quarterback. If I get a really good head coach, I can find an OC that will bring, like, I'll find a head coach that can bring on that OC to develop the quarterback, right? I think that developing the quarterback, especially one with T loss potential, is a much easier task than taking an organization that is clearly worse than the rest of the NFL teams and bringing a competitive advantage that way. So I think that's the one problem that I have because it almost feels like we're going to get another Adam Gase scenario where it's like we brought in a guy that's an offensive minded guru, but like fuck, you can't develop a quarterback without a team to begin with. Let's get the team and then worry about developing the quarterback.
Yeah, Adam Gase didn't give a shit. I'll be honest with you.
Um, all right, so we have one tier two job. Let's go into our fifth job, and that's the Texans. And a large part of that is
Good
because
job.
you don't have the top tier assets of some of these other teams, right? Like you don't have like two top 10 picks or anything, but I believe they have 5 picks in the top 80. They have a slew of like fourth and fifth round draft picks at your disposal. So you have a bunch of picks at your disposal that you can use to bring in talent, although they're not in the very top of the draft. But on top of that, you have a lot of flexibility. You have a good amount of cap space. You don't really have a ton of players where it's like, oh, we need to re-sign this guy, or else like it's like, dude, you are going to have complete say, it feels like, over this team. They got rid of David Culley, who did a pretty decent job for a guy that can build this team for the long term. So if you come in here, as long as you don't Urban
Yeah.
Meyer this shit up, it feels like you're going to be given a fairly long leash and a fair amount of confidence in building this team. And on top of that, you kind of have a little bit of an experiment that you can run with the Davis Mills thing. You can come into this draft, completely draft best player available, give Davis Mills a shot. We were talking before the pod. Maybe you bring on a guy like Mitchell Trubisky and say to Trubisky in contract negotiations, hey, you're going to have a chance here. We'll give you a nice little 1-year deal, like pay him above average back, like pretty damn good backup quarterback money, right? Like more than most backups would get. And say, listen, you're going to come in here. Davis Mills is the guy day one, right? We're going to give him a chance to be a franchise quarterback. But he has not proven that he's a franchise quarterback. So if he comes out here and plays like shit, you've got your own chance to be a franchise quarterback, right? You've got your chance now. So you have a little bit of room to experiment with different guys, different quarterbacks, whatever you want. You're going to have the leash. So to us, the Texans is a tier 2 job. You have no expectations coming in. This is the rock bottom of this franchise. So you can go in and build the team how you want.
And who knows? Maybe Deshaun plays for you if you get hired. Who knows?
I doubt that.
You never know. But other than that, yeah, like I feel like out of all the teams that need a head coach, like that's the most where you got free realm, you know?
Yeah, and you're just given a leash. You have no expectations year one. All right, so let's go into the tier 3 jobs. The last ones available are the Vikings, Bears, and Giants. And Steed, I'm going to give you the pick of the litter. Who is your number 1 tier 3 job? Who would you take out of those 3 teams and why?
Vikings, Bears, and who?
The Giants.
Dude, I'm going to take the Bears.
Okay.
I'll take the Bears. I know you're not a big Justin Fields fan. I'm not a huge guy either. But if I come in and I think if they hire offensive line head coach, maybe you can like coach him around his kinks and everything and create a system where he will succeed at. See, with the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, you know where you're getting, right? Same thing with the other, you know? I think there's a little more opportunity with the Bears there. Plus, the Bears went 6-11 this year. Not great, but for a team I expected to do a lot, I think there's room to grow. You know, I think there's
that is one thing that has to be mentioned is that if you think that Justin Fields is your franchise quarterback, well, that gives you a huge leg up over the Vikings and Giants, and that you don't have to spend ridiculous amounts of resources and risk getting that franchise quarterback. You can just focus on developing the roster around the franchise quarterback, which in the Bears case,
that's why I would pay him.
It's not great necessarily, but you have some good pieces, right? It's not, this team was, a playoff team a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Justin Fields has the talent. We know he has the talent. Maybe you just get the right coach in there, and then he's able to exceed that talent. Like he has his letdowns, and then you just play around that. You know, like all right, like maybe you want to get the ball out from Justin Fields as quick as you can, right? Then you work around that. Like you just fucking dump it off to Darnell Mooney, and then you do that. You got David Montgomery, he's a great back. You know. You got Tevin Jenkins, who we haven't even seen play yet. You know, you traded up in the second round. Maybe he's a beast. We don't know. Defense, you still got J.C. Jackson. You know, like there's a couple pieces.
No, you're talking about that kid from Utah, not J.C. Jackson. Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson. Okay, there you go.
J.C. Jackson. I love Jalen Johnson.
He's on the Pats. Yeah, so you
still shocked he wasn't a first round pick, by the way. No, you're right. And you're
are probably done, but like
you're above average in cap space right now, $34.5 million projected. So you have
just that you don't have picks.
Yeah, you don't have that first rounder. You don't have that big juicer, which is going to be a top 10. You
don't have a second rounder either.
Oh, they don't have a second round. Yeah, that's rough, right? So you're kind of coming in here and you're going to have to be creative with your free agent signings and your late round picks, right? You're going to have to come in here and not have a ton of top-end draft assets to work with, which is unfortunate. And that's going to be annoying, especially if you're a guy thinking you're going to come in here and do a quick turnaround. And yeah, that's the big drawback to this scenario is that you don't have those picks. So I'm going to go next, and I'm going to choose between the Vikings and the Giants as my next team in this tier 3. And initially, I was coming in thinking the Vikings, but I'm actually going to go with the Giants because Man,
Okay, the
I get
G-Man.
2 top teners, baby.
Mm.
And to be honest, like, yeah, the Giants, or their roster, it underperformed a lot, but both these teams are in bad cap spots, right? And I just feel like I have more options if I'm the Giants coach and general manager, right? And I'm going to be able to come in there. I'm going to be in with a GM. We're going to be hired together, and I feel like we're going to be able to develop a plan real easy. I mean, the same thing is going to be said for the Vikings, but like the Giants are at rock bottom. This franchise,
Oh, yeah.
this is the worst spot this franchise has been in like 20, 30 years, right? I feel like I can come in here. I can have my say. It's going to be New York. It's going to be annoying, but we're going to have a little bit of leeway. Um, especially in terms of like getting more draft assets from trading back and whatnot. I feel like that's definitely doable. Um, I just think that the Giants are in a tad bit of a better spot long term than the Vikings would be, where the Vikings feels like they're really stuck in limbo right now.
But yeah, the Vikings is like you have a team that compete, but like they just can't finish the job, right? Like they had 3 or 4 games that they should have won this year that would have taken them to the
Well,
playoffs.
the other
And
thing
it's a
that's
big
annoying
reason
about
why
the
Mike
Vikings
Zimmer's
is that
out.
I think that there's a good ass argument that their GM Rick Spielman should not have been fired, and that he did a good ass job. I mean, not good, like he was pretty average in the long run, but like recently, man, I mean, you drafted guys like Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. I mean, you look at some of the later round picks that they had. That kid from South Carolina, what's his name, DJ Wanham. Like when their defense for a large part of this year, a lot of those good players got injured, and guys that he drafted at the back end of the draft, like a DJ Wanham, came up and was a reliable pass rusher. Not only like he was a reliable 3 down outside linebacker pass rusher kind of guy, which we
Yeah.
both like DJ Wanham, a South Carolina alum. We didn't think he was going to be a reliable 3 down outside linebacker kind of guy. That was his big drawback. These kind of guys that he picked up, he developed them, and I don't know. To me, I don't like that. When you have someone I feel like was doing a halfway decent job and he gets canned, and you're coming into this situation, you have the third least amount of cap space in the league. You have a very aging roster with a lot of your good players. You don't have a franchise quarterback. A lot of reasons to be concerned, especially considering the fact that I think that Zimmer was a good coach. I think Zimmer was good. Like, I'm just concerned to like you fired Zimmer, but what's on the next page from Zimmer? Because what if Zimmer was the
I think
glue keeping this team together and going?
I don't think he was the glue. I mean, his last couple press conferences, he kind of made it clear. He had the question about Kellen Mond. He's like, "You want to take a look at Kellen Mond?" And he's like, "No, I see what he can do at practice." Okay, it's kind of a dig at him. And then you
Wait, he
got
was done with the
the
job. Like,
yeah, but like this is about holding face. Okay, it's about getting the job done. That's about head coaching. You say what you will about Dan Quinn, but his dying day, he would keep it home with the press.
yeah, true.
And here, and then again, last week, his last press conference, Justin Jefferson has a chance to break all-time Vikings receiving record. Hey, what he pulls? Oh no, they're up, and he decides to run the ball. And he was like, "Were you aware of that record?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was. I'm here to win games," which is not like bad, but like,
Yeah,
dude,
it's kind
you're
of a
at the
dick
fucking
move.
playoffs. Yeah, you're at the fucking. You don't care about your players. At the end of the day, like, I know you're
No,
there to
you're right
win,
about
but
that. You're
like,
right about that.
I just think that's and like
Who
Mike
would you
Zimmer, like,
decide between the Giants or the Vikings job right now?
I take the G-man over the Vikings. I don't want that shit.
If I'm the Vikings coach and general manager, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, yeah, it's like you got a quarterback that you're paying. right? You're paying him, 25 mil? 28? Kirk Cousins. You're paying Dalvin, right? You got Justin Jefferson coming up. You have no defense. I mean, it's just.
Well, your defense is good. They just keep getting hurt.
I mean,
I mean, you
got
have
a
good
team
players.
Listen, I think I just burn it down, to be honest with you. I burn it down, just be like, yo, you need Kirk Cousins? Get him
Yeah,
out.
I think that's the Vikings fans' argument is that they've wanted a group that's going to come in here and do a more traditional rebuild, but I feel like that might be kind of hasty. Like the problem with that is that I feel like you almost might be doing what the Jets did after Todd Bowles, where it's like you had some good players, guys like Demario Davis's, and in your quest of burning it
But they,
down, you burn it down for good and get rid of some good players, right? You start getting rid of guys
but
like an
that
Anthony
happens,
Barr
though.
who can still play at a really high level and could have been a good player for your team. So you're
That
really
happens.
stuck in the middle.
They go play for contenders that know they're goddamn contenders. Like the Vikings. Either way you cut it, Kirk Cousins not winning your Super. He's not winning your Super Bowl. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It would take a god. It would take a god run. Okay. So why the hell are
Well,
we
you'd
paying
have to
28
develop the
million?
best roster in the NFL.
Yeah, but they can't do that. They can't do
clearly.
that. So you might as well just go on and just cut everything. And what do you want to do? You got Justin Jefferson, keep him. Might as well keep Dalvin. You can give Kellen Mond a shot if you want to. Get Kirk out there, eat the dead cap. And then just trying to figure out where you're going into, because it's like this league, there's only a few quarterbacks that can win you. Like, we know there's 14 teams in this playoff right now, but we're sitting here. There's only about 4 quarterbacks that are going to win that Super Bowl. We know.
Yeah, it just hurts because you have to develop a roster and find a franchise quarterback. And yes, the Giants have to do the same thing.
Part. It's a reason why teams draft quarterbacks every year. It's because they can't find the franchise guy. It's a tough task.
But fuck, at least if I'm the Giants, I got 2 top 10 picks this year, right? Like, at least I got some ammo to go find a team and a quarterback.
I'm on the G-Men. Yeah, I'm on the G-Men for that. I'm just talking about the Vikings. Like, it's tough. Like, you and me have been spoiled. Like, you've had Big Ben for 18 years. I've had Matt for 16. Like, we've had franchise guys that have taken to those bigger games, and you've won more of them than me, but, like, I know Matt can do it.
Yeah, you're not going into the season worried about if your quarterback is going to be the next fucking
Blake
Bortles.
First position on the depth chart when a coach comes in, it's like, all right, who's our QB? What are we looking at, right?
Well, it's like when Nick Saban.
Like, okay,
if you watch a Football Life about Nick Saban, right? One of the main reasons he left to go back to college was A, because of his wife, and B, they tried to get a damn quarterback. And when push came to shove and they didn't have one, he was like, well, fuck, you can't win in this league without a damn quarterback. What the hell am I doing here? I know I can go to Bama and have damn success. I can have really good success. I have to go here and fight tooth and nail and maybe get a quarterback. So you're right. You gotta get that quarterback.
There's two ways.
This episode's ran long.
It's no dirt on Kirk Cousins. It's just like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Subscribe to us on the tube. Follow us on podcast stuff. But thank you so much for listening. Peace out.